right then, I'm going to try and give you a whole story. Remember, I've been here 25 years. This is an evolution. Your shed is an evolution of what you land on, isn't it? That's what it's all about. So originally, now this is the extension. Let me just turn around a minute and show you. This is the extension. So originally, when we first started with this first garage here, these cupboards here, which came when I moved from Wales, these cupboards came with me from Wales. Actually, I'll show you some cupboards in a minute. They were in the back of the Land Rover. Anyway, these are the cupboards from Wales, and they were along this wall here originally. And then, of course, we made the deal with Debbie, didn't we? The other side of this is Debbie's garage, which is now the Goldwyn garage. But I said, I'll build you a garage, but can I have the rear half for my little extension? So these have come here, and they've just, you make them where they land, they look like they fit there properly. And they sort of do, but they sort of don't, because the gap is just made up with the wood on the edge. It makes them disappear. So this is one unit, that's the unit. This is 2 units on top of each other. And this is another 2 units there, just office drawer. The older drawers are the tougher. The older ones are the tougher. The more modern ones tend to be a bit more flimsy, can't take the weight. As all, you know, obviously it was made of maybe thicker metal or whatever. But yeah, if you can get the older ones in good nick, they can carry more weight. And that's a unit, and that's another unit on top, look. Obviously I've had to break into this one. That one I've managed to get off, but obviously this was locked. You get a lot of them where you have to break into the locks. Anyway, that's how it began. So when we moved in here, that's where the idea came of using the cupboards, the up cupboards. These are B&Q. I was working in B&Q in Brickyard Lane, and again I was in the back saying, taking out skips. These are all B&Q ones. So we did that. So again, they're not all the same size, it's just the front that's the same size. And we did the same here. Look, this is several units. That's 2 units. These were in the back of my Land Rover, and these were the bars that used to lock the drawers from opening and closing. Here, that was these came out the back of my Land Rover. These are the little drawers here, and of course, any space you want to make up, just make a block, make a pretend thing there, and it sort of evens it off. And again, cupboards up here. They're the B&Q ones, and you know, you make things to fit, don't you? So these. Obviously that's a bog standard unit which fitted there. I seem to remember this was bigger, so I had to cut it down and remake it, or you know, disassemble it and make it smaller just to fit in that gap. That was the gap I had, so I had to make the shelves to fit the gap. So that's how that came about. And then we did that because we wanted, well, you know, what comes first, the shelves or the wood, the chicken or the egg? Oh, got to change a bulb there, by the way. Now, Scoutcrafter was talking about, you know, tube lights. I hate them. I first set up the garage with tube lights, and they were always going. They were the ones with the 2 strip lights and 1 bulb. You could never get 1 bulb to work together with starters and all that. I find it's just as easy now to just work on a bulb. When that's gone, bin it, get another one. Way, we're back in action. Look, when the bulb goes, all you have to do is just replace it. Simple and easy. And go around with a cloth now and again, wiping them. So I've converted to bulbs. Anyway, back to shelves. So I got an opportunity of buying the wood. Now I don't like deep shelves. Oh, they're useful, you use them, but things disappear. I do like, well, it's meant to work as two shelves too. One in the front, one behind. As you know, I'm a bit of a nuts and bolts nutter. So it does for that. So these came first. So this wall was here. And if you, I might put that clip in. I was on the One Show. I've been on the One Show twice. And that's, I'm sitting drinking my tea when these were finished. That was a long time ago, yeah. One Show on the BBC. Anyway, then that was there. And then they stayed there for quite some time. I was like that. And I always had rubbish here in the way. Well, as part of building the building next door, the back garage, I don't like to, if I can buy a thing and use it and then sell it, that's fine. So to do the building in the back, I needed some scaffolding. So I bought scaffolding rather than rent it and then have to give it back. And then, of course, you've got the pressure of using it, or else you're paying for it. I'd rather just out and out buy. So I was buying lengths of scaffolding tube for 10 quid. And I think the joints were like 2 quid each. So I bought a whole load of scaffolding tubes for a tenner each. And then I bought a load of scaffolding joints. And whenever I got them, whenever I could see them, I picked them up. They were about 2 quid or something, whatever. So I've got loads of these because I finished that job. And that's why you see scaffolding all over the place, because I bought them to do a job. I took 6 months to do it and then never got round to selling it again, really. The story of my life. And I think we were paying something like, what enabled me to do this set of shelves here was not so much these joints, but these T-joints. They're so easy to do. You run them along the pipe wherever you want. You tighten up this Allen key on the end. So I'd landed on a load of these, which worked out, and a couple of different sort of joints, which worked out very easy then to join them together. There was no sticky out bits. You see how they're a cracking bit of, and all the bottom ones are sitting on the bottom, look. So I just basically ran a tube and sat the tube upwards on the T-joint and put these across. So that enabled me, because I had quite a few of these, that enabled me to easily make this up. I think I did it narrow first and I didn't like it, so I made it wider. But that's how these, and that's just scaffolding boards. These are scaff boards, which are all, you know, you can land on them, pick them up all over, can't you? Yeah. So that's how that unit came along. And I give myself the space. So if you remember, I had nuts, taps and dies everywhere. Taps and die boxes on top of each other everywhere. So I decided I was going to make a taps and die. So again, this is a scaffolding board. There's a 7-ply sheet there. Scaffolding board. I knew I was coming out because of this big tap and die set here. So I made that into like a table. Put a set of legs there and worked it along here. And made this into a unit, didn't I? Putting shelves in. Now, if you remember, the first time I made it, the gaps were bigger. So I was wasting space above. I only wanted room to put my taps and dies in, so I closed them up again. So I gained a shelf there. That's meant to open and there's no stuff on it. And I hate them on top of each other. I don't like double stacking my taps and dies. I don't like doing it. And then we had a space here and we turned that into shelves, didn't we? I think that's on YouTube. And then we bought more taps and dies, didn't we? Inevitably. And then we did this unit. Now, if you remember, or if you look way back, let me just get this out of the way because I'm still stuffed to the gunnels here. If you remember way back, this cupboard wasn't here, and the shot blaster was in there, wasn't it? So we'd sat the shot blaster in there, and We put it on the end. So again, we started with this shelf and at the bottom, and then again we had to close it. We built it, and then we realized the shelves were too far apart. We only needed the minimum space to get the taps and dies in. So we built this, didn't we? And then we got that cupboard. And then we hung the face of the cupboard on here. This is the cupboard. And we put taps and dies behind it. And I'm going to do the same there. As I grow my taps and dies, I'm going to do this again into a cupboard of taps and dies. Part of moving out to the back, the sandblaster's gone. The parts washer will go as well into the back, and we'll turn that into taps and dies. And then the rest of it is just like everyone else, really. You just adapt and change to what you've got. I mean, one of the very first things that came here was this table, this steel table. So everything moves and changes as you get an idea. And again, look, here we wanted to make use of the corners, because we all tend to have sort of dead corners, don't we? And again, it's only scaffolding board. One leans up against the other. See little legs up there. Just make whatever ends up being a shelf works just fine. And we use brackets here. And then the same here. Now I do like, let me just show you something before we move on. I do like this stuff, this Dexian. This, I use it on all my, whenever I've got it, I've got lengths of it. It's great for making shelves. Absolutely. You get a fixing that way and you get a fixing upwards. Now sometimes you can tech screw them. In this case, where can I show you here? In this case, I've bolted them through here, look. So there's a bolt connecting two of these. We go up another bolt across here. Bolt across here. In this case, same again, a block of wood and bolt through. Block of wood, bolt through. Block of wood, bolt through. So that's how I've done the edges. That's how it sits on there. Because obviously I must have had at the time enough bolts to do the job, you know, or I must have landed on them. These are these ones that you drill a hole and you put a mixture in them, you know. You epoxy them in or whatever it is, but I didn't use them for that. They were long enough. Nut either side, bang. Sometimes I tech screw the screws in. What did I do with these? Oh yeah, these ones here, these were bolted. These ones here are all tech screwed in. Really easy to do. It's that Dexian stuff, look. Just tech screw there, and these there. Because, you know, if you were to do it like a proper joiner's, if I was to do it like a proper joiner would with proper joints, you'd be, it wouldn't be square and straight. So that's how I've done those. Oh, plus I did land, do you remember? I did land on a whole load of these planks. And I'm about on my last one. I should have got twice as much. I landed on a whole load of these planks, didn't I? And I've made full use of them. So let's go and see the other shelves. So you remember this place here? Remember when Debbie had her first, Debbie always ran around in bangers. Debbie's first brand new car was, she's recently got rid of the Mustard. Before the Mustard was that purple thing, which is a Peugeot. And before that she had a little yellow, is it a 107 or a 10, little yellow thing, yellow Peril. It was brand new. Debbie's first brand new car. So I said, I'll build you a garage. So, well, I said I would ask Stephen to build her a garage. So this is how it worked out. This was just an S space. So remember, my extension is out there, and this is Debbie's garage, and there was no There was no space. The car just fitted through the door and in here. And then Debbie's little purple Peugeot, the one before the one she's just dropped, that fitted in here just. There was no room for anything else. And then of course she had the Mustard because she was travelling further. So we got the Mustard, and of course the Mustard didn't fit in here, that one, the yellow one that we've just got rid of. It didn't fit in here. So that opened the door for me to be, it's sort of, I had to keep next door clear because the Wing used to live there, and the Rocket before that, and the Valkyrie before that. But because now I've had my own garage for the Wing, it sort of allowed me to fill that up too much next door. Anyway. So again, this is my preferred shelving solution. Is just one. There's nothing hidden. What you see is what you get. So when you're searching, you can see exactly in the front what you're looking at. Yeah. So we did this, didn't we? We built these. These are my best, and they're not taking a lot of space up. So you're storing them. Nice thin shelves, everything, because I'm Mr. Nuts and Bolts. So that's why it suits what I collect. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, your shelves has to reflect what you collect. And I collect everything in jars. And a jar is only, you know, and it's a little bit untidy. I had to work around, had to make the shelves fit the electrical boxes that were on the wall. There's another big electrical joint there. We had to work around it. We had to invent, you know, you make the shelves as you go along. You make the shelves fit where you've got. So that's what we did here. And again, Dexian. Screw it in the wall, screw it in the wood. This is all done by bits of Dexian, hold it all together. Then Tech screws are really strong. This joint is strong, really easy. Just make it fit, make everything fit with your jars, one shelf at a time. And then obviously in the middle, because we were trying to get around this electric box stuff, we well, I did do a mistake. When I first started, I put an axe through it. Kill all the electrics. Nobody knew where I thought, oh, that'd be all right. Turn it off, put an axe through it. Nobody knew where, and it had to be rewired all over again. That was a problem. So whatever you do, don't put an axe through the electrics. Anyway, so the shelving is here. And then one fine summer's day, was it lockdown? Anyway, I must have had plenty of time. I thought, how am I going to find all my stuff? Which then created, and of course, I had these planks of wood, didn't I? So which then created, give me the idea of area 1, A, B, C. And then I could then put A down the side, shelf 1, shelf 2, shelf 3, shelf 4, shelf 5, shelf 6, shelf 7, and we could do that. So whatever's on here, tied via a little screw and a cable tie, it's meant to be. I'm going to say meant to be because it's been a while, and you take stuff off and you don't put stuff back, and you know, but I'm pretty much on top of it. And of course I've got a lot more time now, so. But that was the next sort of evolution of shelving, and we had a bit of space here, and we had a window here, and again we had the wood, and again, can you see, look, I've just got a big bolt, bolted it through, sat the shelf on it, big bolt running through. Yes, I could cut that short, but I always think if I'm going to dismantle it, I've always got a full one left, haven't I? So sometimes you just use the bolt that fits properly, and if you use a bigger one, you know, whatever the next idea is, we might decide, who knows, right, trash that, we've got a new idea. You don't know, because your shelves, be prepared. And the good thing about when you do it this way, these just unscrew, so you can dismantle it. If you've got the next big and good idea, and if the idea is worthy enough to dismantle everything, these tech screws can be reused and this Dexion can be reused. I can't see at this moment another, but of course if the situation came where the wing goes away and we've got no bike, obviously it's giving me more space, so maybe another shelf up here full of nuts and bolts either side. Who knows, but anyway, at the moment that's the wing garage, and that's how that set of shelves came about. Hold on, we're not finished yet. So then the next thing that came along was the availability of these cupboards. I can't remember what I paid for them, so I sort of decided I could have put them all in a row or whatever, but I decided to put one up, find the middle point, put two over here, and that's what started in here on its own. And of course with the backboard on it, sort of square it up, otherwise it'd be quite wobbly, wouldn't it? And I wanted the deck here, I wanted a bench space. Well, meant to be a bench space, put underneath. And of course, you know, you're up to date with all the concreting in the back, all that sort of a thing. So that was there for quite some time. Again, just junk collecting. I like these up here because, you know, I get the tub. You're not in there fiddling, you just pull the tub out as you want. So that's how I get access to all the top stuff. You know, it's up there, sticking your head in there. It's about as high as I can reach. I put the lighter stuff up above. Anyway, so that was there. And then we got a whole load of these, didn't we? And what are you going to do with them? What am I going to do with all these? I haven't yet filled them or used them to their full potential yet. We're getting there. Anyway, what am I going to do with those? Well, I'm going to make a set of shelves, aren't I? And remember, we broke out the concrete here. There was a concrete square. We broke it down. We put the shelves in here. And we did that. And then we came up and we dealt with the step, didn't we? And as you go along, you learn. This was quite close here. And we used that expanding foam. And to my amazement, it's holding up. The expanding foam is holding up. So, quite pleased with that. And of course, a couple of shelves, we had a load of these as well, didn't we? So we were able to put these on the shelves as well. You make the shelves to what you've got. But we discovered it didn't really do as much good. We were still short of space. So then we did this one. We moved along and we thought, oh, right. We'll move to the end of where the shed corner turns, and we built these, didn't we? Yeah, and I was quite pleased, and they didn't take long to fill. And these shelves are now full. Yeah, so this is now, and we knew we were going to turn the corner. Remember, we did the concrete pillar here, or concrete whatever you want to call it, which turned the corner, and we knew that was the next step, and we've just done the next step that way, haven't we? So it's an evolution, it grows. It's these, I'm talking 20 years or more with all these shelves. And of course, these cupboards came as well, didn't they? Yeah, wow. So we had an opportunity on these. And these are the office thing, drawer thing, blah, blah, you know. And they're one on top of another. Now, at the time, I didn't have a really good base, so I just did it out of wood and wedged it up. But we've got to rip all this out and put a proper bottom in there. One of the next major jobs to do. But in between times, these have been just great. These have been, don't put too much weight in them because they're just basically office. But again, it's all storage, isn't it? And of course, I wanted the wood up above. So rather than sit the weight on the top of these, crushing them and twisting them out of shape as they do, can't put much weight, I decided to put some legs. So there's a pair of legs here on a surface, pair of legs in the middle, And we've got a pair of legs here, look. So the weight isn't on top of these cupboards killing them, because they're fairly flimsy when it comes to weight. But that then enabled, I had a load of wood in, didn't I? And that enabled me to put the wood up here. It was up to the roof at one point. I wish I'd had more. Anyway, there we are. It's one of those things. So that's pretty much the story of the space. And this is my filthy corner. Yet there's a lathe behind there. A little one. I had a bigger one, didn't I? I had a Colchester, but it was way beyond my abilities. And it was 3-phase. That's the lathe, but I've got no motor on it. So I'm going to ditch that and get another one. Already up and running. But that's my rubbish corner. So we've got to work our way across here somehow. That's my next area to get to. But all in all, you know, all in all, we are using all the space and we are being efficient. Otherwise, that just would have been a wall and a floor, wouldn't it? Yeah. Although it still is just a wall and a floor full of rubbish. You know, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, isn't it? Yeah. So anyway, that's the story of the shelves, and I can't wait for Debbie to tell me one day. I'm hoping Debbie one day will say to me, do you know what? I've had enough of the Garian house. I don't want to do it anymore. You can have it. So I can't wait to turn this into shelving. You know, just a jar deep. Wow. Wouldn't that be amazing? And then put another set of shelves in here. So, now we've had pretty good years. We've had some fun with it. Last year was terrible for growing. And of course it's winter, it's all dead now. Once all clearing out ready for the spring. But I'm sort of hoping for the day that Debbie says to me, do you know what, Reggie? You can have it for your nuts and bolts. I don't want to run a greenhouse anymore. Ooh, that'd be a celebration, wouldn't it? And you can see, look, part of building this is why we've got scaffolding. How do you store scaffolding? That's the question. If you've got scaffolding, it's on the floor, it's in the way, you haven't moved it on. I thought to myself, well, what I'll do is I'll make a frame. So it's only it's not a frame for any reason. The only reason it's in this shape is because I wanted to get rid of it, store it out of the way. So if we do need this scaffolding at any time, all we'll do is disconnect the joints. We might use it up to there, but it was just a way of storing all the scaffolding that I had. Otherwise it would have been a bundle on the floor and you would have been in your way all the time. And yes, I should have really sold it and got my money back, but we never did actually get round to doing that, did we? So that's the reason all this scaffolding is here. It's simply a way to store it. Yeah. So if I want any for any other job somewhere, whatever I'm doing, just dismantle it, cut it up, use it. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. So that's the story and the history of my shelf making over easily 20-25 years.